Hello from beautiful Bali, Indonesia, and welcome to the final part of this 3-part meditation series. If you've missed parts 1 or 2, I'll link those both for you in the description box below to watch before you get started on this one. Now let's continue where we left off. Let's summarize again. We find a comfortable seated position, bring the focus to the rising and falling of the abdomen, and if sensations or thoughts arise, we simply observe it in a detached manner, label it, let it pass, and return to the breath. But now, what happens if you're in some kind of discomfort? Maybe your leg is starting to fall asleep, or something is irritating your throat and you want to cough. So what do? Ideally, you label the sensation as we did before and let the feeling pass. Numbing or tickling sensations often do pass. But with that said, as a beginner, you might not want to sit through such discomfort. So for those of us who are new to meditation, we're going to learn how to move when in a seated position with intention. And the key word here being intention. So let's use an example to demonstrate. You're focusing on the breath, rising and falling, and suddenly this gets interrupted by a tickling sensation on your nose from a stray piece of hair. You label it feeling, or tickling, or nose. Again, there's no right or wrong labels to use. You're just using the labels to guide you in becoming more aware and mindful in the present moment. So you observe the sensation and continue to label it, waiting for the feeling to pass, but after some time, it just won't go away, and you make the decision to move it. But you will label this decision intention, intention, intention. So basically, you're honoring the intention to do something, which in this case is to move that piece of hair off your nose. Now that you've silently stated the intention, you don't just go ahead and move it. Instead, you intentionally move, labeling and feeling every motion as your hand makes its way from your lap to your nose. Labeling, lifting, 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 as your arm makes its way very slowly to your face. We'll break apart every movement into a series of smaller steps, labeling as you go along. So for example, feeling the weight of gravity on your arm. And when the hand makes contact with a stray piece of hair, you can label it contact. Then you continue to feel and label all sensations as you move the piece of hair away from the face and tuck it behind the ear. And as the hand lowers back to the lap, and as you feel every sensation as it slowly lowers, you label it lowering. When all is said and done, observe your sensations and feelings for a moment, then return to the breath, and as always, rising, 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 and falling, falling, falling. This practice can also be applied if you realize you're no longer sitting in an upright position. Maybe you've noticed that you're arcing your back, or you want to elongate your spine again. You don't just pop up and let it be done just like that. You do it instead mindfully, placing the intention to do so and feeling every vertebrae stack on top of one another as you gracefully lift the crown of your head towards the sky and gently tuck in the chin. Remember that with meditation, everything is mindful and intentional. Now, a question commonly asked is, how long should I meditate for? And I don't think that there's necessarily a right or wrong answer to this. I would say pick any amount of time that seems reasonable to you. So if you're just starting out, 5 or 10 minutes at a time is admirable. And you can always increase the frequency and the duration that you're meditating once you get a little bit more comfortable with it. Now, I'll be completely honest and say, I don't make time for seated meditation every day, but I'm absolutely mindful every day in the way that I go about my day-to-day activities because I bring those lessons and techniques that I learned in meditation along with me. And I feel that this is how meditation has helped me above all else. So for example, if I'm stressed out because of an upcoming deadline, I remind myself to become aware of my breath. I identify my thoughts and feelings as being stressed, but I make sure not to label myself as a stressed person. I take a moment to stop, observe, and place an intention before I set out to do anything else. When I'm doing mundane activities like cleaning around the house, I try to tune into the different sensations and feelings. So for example, if I'm doing the dishes, I take the time to enjoy that moment, feeling the warmth of the water and the slipperiness of the soap. So you can see how learning these techniques can help you far beyond the 5 or 10 minutes you dedicate to seated meditation. All right, so this concludes our 3-part meditation series. I hope that you get a chance to put some of these techniques into practice and that you find it as helpful as I know I did. And I'm gonna sign off as my teacher always did by saying metta, always. Metta just means in loving kindness and directing well wishes towards others. So we're gonna say it one final time together now. Are you ready? Metta, always.